1st, 2016 meeting. Andrew,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'll open the floor for public comments on agenda items only. Okay, reports of supervisor and council members. I hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving. I know I did. I had a couple phone calls regarding the televised town board meetings, and I wanted to let everyone know that we are working on it. Please feel free to call me if you have any concerns regarding this. Though the meetings are on the website and YouTube, there are people out there who do not have access to a computer or anything else, so they would really like to see the meetings on TV. And again, Ryan has been here all day working on it, and he is waiting on a part from Cablevision, and hopefully tonight will be okay. But if not, we are working on it. I met with representatives from NYMER and the Spain Agency on Monday, and they walked through the highway buildings and the park, and they will send a report with any suggestions. I also discussed with them our employee handbook and gave them a copy, and they will be going over it and giving us suggestions to update the handbook. These are necessary updates. I also took a 2-part online course on the NYMER website, Employment Practices Liability Parts 1 and 2, and I suggest everyone really go on that. It's a really good thing.
And it's free for us, right?
And it's free for us, so these are really good online courses, and you can keep track of what you've done and and everything like that, and they're just very informative. And that's all I have for right now. So John, do you have anything?
Yeah, I have one thing. It's a letter from the governor to one of our local residents, and I think it's noteworthy that somebody in Unionville has done something that got the governor's attention, something good, and I would like to read the letter. It's from the Executive Chamber, State of New York, Andrew Cuomo, Governor, to the Gay family, 8 Patrick Drive, LaGrangeville. Dear friends, it's a pleasure to send greetings to everyone gathered for the lighting of the annual ERDA-JT holiday Christmas display at the Gay family home. As the holiday season arrives, we come together for special events that celebrate time-honored customs and traditions. We step out of everyday world for a few minutes to spend time with family, friends, and neighbors, enjoying the company of those we love and slowing down to relish the simple, important things in life. Starting tonight and running until December 28th, this magical, record-breaking holiday light show and concert will draw hundreds of visitors and raise thousands of dollars for local charities distributed through the community fund established by the Unionville Fire Company. This eagerly anticipated holiday event will delight young and old alike as they come to see old friends and meet this year's newest additions. Best wishes for a season filled with the kind of warmth and good cheer that give meaning and inspiration today and always. Happy holidays. Sincerely, Andrew M. Cuomo, Governor of New York. So I think it's pretty impressive that something in Unionville got the governor's attention like that, so I'm glad I was able to read it.
I did get a couple of phone calls regarding the traffic, and called Dave immediately, and I think Dave went out and took care of anyone's complaints.
If there are any complaints, they can call either here or call me. You know, my number's on the website. And we'll take care of it as quickly as we can.
Dave?
I just got a couple of things. The fire company is having a pancake breakfast on December 11th. This will be in support of cancer charities, I believe Sparrow's Nest We were also asked, since the fire company isn't doing a coin drop this year at the recycling center, if we could do a coin drop for Sparrow's Nest. They do serve people right here in our own community, so I'd like to ask permission of the board to do that. I gave everybody a copy of what LEM Associates projects in saving us per year by switching over to their solar farm, which is another $6,443 a year. I did get in information from NYSERDA, finally, showing us what we could produce on all our properties. And as soon as I get all that together, I'll make sure that everybody gets a copy of it. That's all I got, unless you'd like to say on the vote on the Sparrow's Nest now.
Yeah, I think, well, Patty, it's your call on making the
Well, if you
motion
wanna
now.
make a motion,
I'll make a motion that we
allow the Sparrows
Sparrow's Nest
Next to do a coin
to do a
drop.
coin drop.
Mhm. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Well, I don't have any opposition to this, but I'd like to make that vote contingent upon the approval of the attorney. I don't
Well, the fire
know.
company's.
I understand that, but the laws are funny regarding this sort of thing.
Really?
I'll give Tim a call,
Tom call, okay.
Okay, contingent upon the attorney, all in favor?
Aye.
Steve, you have anything?
Yeah, last month, there was quite a discussion on the new highway truck. And I did some looking around and wanted to clear up a few things. Each one had one of these here. We originally started discussing that truck back in towards the end of summer last year, when we were putting the budget for 2016 together. Highway superintendent approached us about purchasing 2 trucks. We suggested that he choose which one was most important, and it was this Dodge dump truck that we recently got. We submitted a request to a leasing company for a quote to lease to purchase, which was mentioned last meeting. That lease at that time was sought for budgeting purposes. It wasn't intended to be the payment in full. That would require a VIN number, and they don't issue those until the truck has been ordered and built. So the intent was to move forward with an actual contract with a leasing agent when the truck arrived. The money to make a year's worth of payments was inserted into the budget in the highway equipment line. And as you see here, in February of 2016, the highway superintendent reported that the truck had been ordered and was expected to be delivered in June. At that time, there were no questions about whether, there was any problems with paying for it. Again, John and I were aware that we had put the money in the budget for this purpose. Now, the truck was selected from the New York State bid list, which exempts it from the requirements of the procurement policy of getting 3 quotes on a truck. The state has already done that and has a pre-approved list for us to select equipment and vehicles from. Rich also requested to surplus 2 trucks that this new truck would replace. And at that time, it was suggested that the sale, or the proceeds from the sale of the surplus trucks be returned to the highway equipment line. The truck was actually delivered in the second half of September. And an executive session was called, and we were told that there was no money to pay for the truck. It had been explained at that executive session that the money was indeed there, but there didn't seem to be any interest in getting this lease agreement underway that we had planned on using. At the time, it was also suggested to look at alternative means if there was not, if the money wasn't felt to be there, that we look at alternative means to pay for the truck, because we do need the truck to plow the roads for our residents. Shortly thereafter, the truck dealer, had expressed concern about not getting paid, and the town credit rating was at risk. And, at last meeting then, we reported that, we were able to come up with the money to pay for the truck. I think a lot of this could have been resolved early on had we focused our attention on a solution rather than finger pointing.
Are you finished?
I am.
You are.
I am.
Okay. So, all of this doesn't excuse the fact that the highway superintendent never got town board approval to purchase this particular vehicle. So therefore, no one told me or the new members of this board where the money was supposed to come from. And then I was presented with a lease purchase agreement that was over a year and a month old, I believe, and expected to sign this lease purchase agreement that was only good for 30 days. So therefore, it was null and void anyway. So at this point, when I was presented with a bill for $73,000, I had no clue where we were going to get the money from. I would have had to go out for another lease purchase agreement, which would have taken more time. Meanwhile, the truck company would have had to wait a longer amount of time. If the bill had been brought in exactly when the truck was brought in, the truck was brought in, the end of September. I didn't receive a bill until October sometime. And at that point, a red flag arose, and I started looking into minutes of meetings and everything else, and realized that the town board had never approved the purchase of this truck, but it was ordered anyway by the highway superintendent. And then our auditors come in recently. They actually advised me to send the truck back, and if there was any payments due, that the highway supervisor would be responsible to make these payments. And I felt that really is not the right thing to do. Our residents need their roads plowed and everything, and if we needed this truck, we needed to do everything we possibly could to get this truck. So therefore, I discovered that the money that he had brought in for the sale of the older equipment did go back to the highway, but we needed to use that to pay for this truck, because a lease agreement would have taken too long. So the truck was actually paid for with the money that was in the budget and the money that he brought in for revenue for the sale of old equipment. So, in my opinion, all of this could have been solved if this man did what he was supposed to do in the first place and went for town board approval to purchase the vehicle in the first place.
Well, in addition to looking at this paperwork here that I had, I spoke with several attorneys and several highway superintendents, and they're split down the middle on what the procedure is. I know our attorney said that we needed to have a resolution on this. I spoke with several attorneys that told me that we don't, and I had heard other attorneys tell me that we did. That's not clear cut. And in addition, I got the same answers from a number of different highway superintendents I spoke with. So it's kind of a foggy area there, whether there was a problem here. And at the most, it was a procedural mistake. And we've made quite a few up here on this table since the new board came into play as well. There's been a lot of procedural errors here. It wasn't anything that we couldn't fix. and it wasn't anything that needed to be made the issue that it was. And again, I'll say that our efforts would have been better spent finding the solution.
Well, I think that if you keep bringing this to light, it's making
Oh, I'm
more
done with
of
it
the
now.
issue
I'm done with it now.
than anything. And I think we should let a lion dog lay. We did what we could to bail him out, and it's over with now. And we need to move on. Okay, discussions. I'd like to put out RFPs for the engineer, the accountant, and the IT person for 2017. This was, again, suggested by the auditors that these things need to be done every year and have not been done in several years by the previous administration. So I think that we need to do this, and I'd like to make a motion to put out the RFPs for the engineer, the accountant, and the IT. The planner, we just did, so I don't
Yes.
think it's necessary to redo that one.
Right.
So I'd like to make a motion to put these RFPs out.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Steve Frazier had sent us all emails regarding workshop sessions to discuss zoning codes. I think it's a good idea, and maybe at our next few town board meetings, we could come an hour early and invite the planning board and building inspector maybe, and the new planner, and discuss a couple of these changes. And the zoning board, yes, and discuss some of these changes, because obviously our code book really needs to be updated. So we'll try and do that for the next couple of meetings, unless you want to just start it in January, or do you want to start it at the last December meeting?
No, I think, starting after the holidays, I think going into the holidays is gonna be too much
Okay,
pressure.
so we'll
but,
start that
yeah,
at the
once
first
things settle
meeting in
down after-
January.
Maybe the second meeting of January to,
Okay,
because the first one will be the reorg. And
Be
maybe
the
start,
19th of January.
start talking at the second meeting in January.
okay,
Hold
so,
on to that until the.
okay, thank you. I spoke to Alan Bell on and off throughout the past month or so, and regarding the shared service we have with LaGrange, with the assessor, and he would like to continue that, I would like to continue that, and I don't think we have to sign any contracts or anything. I think he said as long as we're all in favor and agree with it, that it's a continual contract as it was before.
Did we get the terms worked out that, where there was a disagreement?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess they were looking at taking Robert and sharing him with Pleasant Valley or Hyde Park or something.
Pleasant Valley.
Pleasant Valley, I think it was. And, honestly, Robert did not want to leave here. He
Right.
likes it here. He found a home here, and he does well here. And I
Yeah, it's a
think-
win-win for us and LaGrange to
It-
keep
it
it
is.
here. We pay our 25%, they pay the 75, and the residents at both towns benefit.
I
Yep.
think we should probably have some mention of that at the reorganizational meeting in January, that we're gonna continue that.
Yeah, that'll be in the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So now we can move on to the resolutions and motions.
Yes.
Okay. John, you want to read
Sure.
that first one?
First one is Resolution 16011 to authorize payments. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Unionville hereby authorizes the payment of all general fund claims and highway fund vouchers as set forth in the abstract number 11 of 2016, which is available in Town Clerk's office, and authorize the Town Supervisor to make all payments.
I'll second. Town board discussion? Roll call vote, Andrea?
Councilman Welsh,
Aye.
Supervisor Tompkins,
Aye.
Councilman McMorris,
Aye.
Councilman Frazier.
Aye.
Resolution authorizing supervisor to execute dog control housing agreement. Whereas the Town of Unionville Dog Control Officer is empowered to seize dogs pursuant to the provisions of the Agriculture and Markets Law 7/117, and whereas pursuant to Agriculture and Markets Laws, Article 7/117, dogs seized by a dog control officer are required to be properly fed and watered during the applicable redemption period, and whereas the Dutchess County SPCA maintains a kennel for boarding dogs and other animals at its office located on 636 Violet Avenue, Hyde Park, New York, and whereas the Town of Unionville desires to contract with Dutchess County SPCA to provide shelter for dogs seized by the dog control officer upon terms set forth in the agreement between the Town of Unionville and Dutchess County SPCA for January 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Unionville hereby authorizes the Town Supervisor to execute a dog control housing agreement with Dutchess County SPCA for 2017, and be it further resolved that a copy of said agreement shall be kept on file in the office of the Town Clerk.
I will second that motion.
Do we have contract pricing from the SPCA?
Yes, it was the same as last year.
Okay, I just wanted to, maybe we can attach that to the resolution at some point?
Yeah, we have to.
Right.
Attach contract.
John seconded?
Yes.
Okay.
Roll call vote, Andrea?
Councilman Welch?
Aye.
Supervisor Tompkins?
Aye.
Councilman McMorris?
Aye.
Councilman Frazier?
Aye.
Dave?
Resolution appointing Board of Assessment Review member. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Unionville hereby appoints Thomas Murphy to the Town of Unionville Board of Assessment Review for the term commencing October 1st, 2016 and running through September 30th, 2021.
5-year term. I will second that.
Town Board discussion? I did speak to Robert Taft about this, and he requested that we reappoint this gentleman.
Yeah, he's done a
because
great job.
Such a
Yeah,
great
he's
job in the past,
Very
so.
objective.
Okay, ready? Councilman Welch?
Aye.
Supervisor Tompkins?
Aye.
Councilman McMorris?
Aye.
Councilman Frazier?
Aye.
Okay, now we'll take public comments on non-agenda items.
Come on, Alfredo, you must have something.
I have a lot to say, but you don't want to hear it, so. happy to-
Oh, might
I
as well.
agree.
Is that camera on?
Yes.
Yes.
No.